My bad, man. I'm still trying to figure out how to use this goddamn. I'm still trying to figure out how to use it, family. Y'all gotta bear with me, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm new to this whole Streamlabs thing, man. Y'all bear with me. Hold on, let's get this thing started. We about to react to this Kwon, baby. We about to react to this Kwon. I ain't watch it yet, so I'm gonna do a live reaction because I ain't even watch it yet. Hold on, family. We're gonna wait till a few more people get up in here. Y'all be on that bull, bro. What y'all be on, man? I don't know why that's here. I gotta figure out how to like turn on my settings and stuff while I'm live, bro. Like, y'all gotta bear with me because I don't be knowing how to do this. What's wrong with this thing? It's not live. Are we live or are we not live? What's going on? The fuck? Hold on, I think we live, baby. I think we live. Y'all bear with me. You already know, you know what I'm saying? I set it up how I set it up. I gotta close my door, family. No interruptions. No interruptions, man. We gotta close the door. Alright. Let's check out what my boy Kwon got to say, man. We about to see what Kwon talk about, man. We about to do a live reaction. Y'all make sure y'all like, subscribe. You already know how it go. Share this, man. Matter of fact, I'm going to share it right now. That way everybody know we live. You feel me? We going to do this live reaction because we want to know what Kwon talking about, man. We want to know what Kwon talking about. We want to know what's going on. You feel what I'm saying? Let's get straight into it. All right.
If it's called a stable coin and its point is to be stable, someone could look at UST and say, this product did nothing. Does that make you an Elizabeth Holmes?
I don't think so.
Why not?
Welcome to Coinage. I'm Zach Guzman, and this is the story of the largest and most controversial collapse in the history of crypto. It's a story of $45 billion evaporating over the span of just 72 hours. And it's a story of one man at the center of what some are calling crypto's biggest failure and others crypto's biggest fraud. For the first time since the crash of his empire.
So what y'all think? Crypto biggest failure or crypto biggest fraud? I want to know from y'all, man.
3 months ago, Kwon, the founder of Terraform Labs and creator of the Terra blockchain, has agreed to sit down to tell his side of the story to Coinage on the record. 4 years ago, Kwon was just a Stanford grad from South Korea with a dream to revolutionize the global economy. Fast forward to today, and some have dubbed him the Elizabeth Holmes of crypto. Investors around the world have accused him of defrauding them out of their life savings, and investigators in Korea are circling his case. I myself lost money in Terra, and Terraform Labs was an investor in this show's parent company. So yeah, to put it lightly, many of us have been trying to get all kinds of answers for months now. Because Terra failed. There's no getting around that. It's just hard to believe that the man smart enough to create Terra could have been so blind to its flaws. Which begs the questions that I've been trying to get answered myself. Can we trust Kwon? What did he know and when? And does how Terra failed rise to the level of fraud? So we're going straight to the source. But first, we need to understand why Terra imploded, and that means knowing how it worked. The Titanic,
Y'all already know what time it is, man. I look, I ain't about to hold no punches with Do Kwon, you feel me? Because I'm hip. I know about Do Kwon, you feel me? And I had a little piquito of the little cash in Terra Luna, but at the end of the day, it wasn't nothing that I was too much concerned about, man. But Do Kwon, it take a lot of kahunas to go do an interview after all this stuff went down. So I give him respect for that. I give him a little bit of respect for, you feel me, owning up and doing an interview. I respect that.
the Hindenburg, TERRA. All great promises, all great failures. Now, did the Titanic sinking prove all boats will hit icebergs? Of course not. Did the Hindenburg's implosion stop all of us from using blimps every day in dozens of real-world use cases? It's complicated. But if you were standing at the fiery scene of the crash, your first instinct probably wouldn't be to say, you know what the Hindenburg's problem was? It wasn't big enough. But in the case of currencies like TERRA, that actually kind of was the problem. Look, I'm not going to lie, this is a complicated story. And that's kind of half the point. When things go wrong, those complications can be pretty convenient to hide behind. But the idea at the core of this story is simple. Your money should be controlled by you. You shouldn't have to rely on centralized authorities like traditional banks to access it. It's the same idea that gave rise to Bitcoin and Ethereum. There's just one problem. Their prices are famously volatile. Enter stablecoins, literally designed to keep the value of their coins stable, usually by pegging it to a price of $1. To pull that off, most stablecoins claim to be backed by an equivalent amount of actual US dollars. But that undercuts the whole idea of not relying on the traditional banking system or centralized institutions in the first place. In other words, if your blimp can't actually fly on its own, did you really build a blimp? So Do's sales pitch was straightforward.
The thesis that we put forward is that a decentralized economy needs decentralized money. And can we agree that we need that today more than ever?
To deliver on that mission, he launched Terra's stablecoin, UST. And unlike other stablecoins, UST wasn't backed by actual dollars held in a bank. Instead, it was backed by another unregulated coin he created called Luna. It all hinged on Econ 101, supply and demand. And since we couldn't afford Margot Robbie in a bathtub, you're stuck watching their animation. Basically, the idea was, when UST moved above its $1 peg, anyone could swap Luna for UST and sell it for a profit. That would increase the supply of UST and bring its price back down to $1. On the flip side, when UST dropped below its $1 peg, people could swap UST back to Luna and sell it for a profit. Doing so would decrease the supply of UST and bring its price back up to $1. And that was it. That was the $100 billion idea. But here's the catch. For it to work, it had to be a $100 billion idea. It needed a whole ecosystem of goods and services built on top of it. It needed to be backed by a real economy. Because without that backstop, sure, a dollar's worth of Luna could always be swapped for a dollar's worth of UST. But what made either of those worth anything to begin with? That's why almost every other algorithmic stablecoin had gone to zero. They couldn't get big enough and used enough to get backed by anything real. And things can go real bad real fast when that happens.
Facts.
Because then if prices dropped, people wouldn't want to swap their UST for more Luna. They just want to sell out of UST and Luna altogether. In traditional finance, we'd call that a bank run. In stablecoin speak, it's a death spiral. So Do set out to avoid having one by building a bigger, better blimp. A blimp that all of crypto could use. Nay, a blimp that all of crypto would need. Simply put, Terra had to convince us that their stablecoin was worth something. One way to do that was by making it easier to spend.
So y'all want the DOGELON Mars stablecoin. Y'all want the DOGELON index. You feel me? Y'all gotta really take time to do your research before you actually put in these votes, because this is an example. And TERRA, as you see, was a $100 billion project.
Before launching UST, Do and his co-founder Daniel Shin had also created the Korean payments giant Chai. When Chai started letting people use Terra stablecoins to pay for things in the real world, it became Do's first big selling point. This coin was better than any that had come before it.
All right,
And
so
his second selling point made it.
yeah. I'm tired of hearing him talk. Let's get to Do Kwon. I mean, I'm just being honest, family. You know, I got attention span issues, so we gonna get to Do Kwon, man. Let's move on. All right, we got what you was trying to say, Brody, but now we need to talk to Big Boss Man, Do Kwon.
What do you point to as kind of the easiest defense of it's not fraud?
I don't think it's like a morality issue, but it's like coming in from like a loss of this magnitude, and especially touching upon an industry that requires a lot of technical background knowledge to be able to understand. It's just like very hard to process all of that and then come to a balanced conclusion when there's so much pain and anger in the air.
To see it all play out in a span of 72 hours, were you even surprised at like how quickly it unraveled?
I just didn't
That boy got the open toe sandals on. You already know what type of person you rocking with. If he pull up to the interview with the open toe sandals, you already know what time it is.
think this would happen. You know, thinking about this and then trying to build this ecosystem and community was basically what I spent the last 5 years on every waking moment. I just haven't found the words to describe, you know, what that feels like. But I'm sure that a lot of people in the community that lost their money, life savings, and different projects that we're building on top of TERRA probably went through similar and it's quite possibly worse experiences.
And as far as like a creator of anything like this, I mean,
It's brutal. Obviously, like, in hindsight, a lot of the beliefs and
That boy
sort
got
of
a
the
smile on
conjectures
his
that I had
face.
made were wrong.
trust is at the core, I think, ironically, in a lot of these trustless systems. It does come down to like, do you trust the people running these things? What do you say is the thing to, no, you can trust me?
I think if you were in this for personal benefit, that is probably the dumbest way to try to get that personal benefit as possible. Why put in 5 years, stake your entire reputation, name your daughter Luna, and then just have, for a brief moment in time, be the most hated person on the internet? And I think in terms of, you know, healing wounds, the best that I can do is to just be upfront with, you know, everything that happened. You know, just admit that I was wrong.
It was pretty elaborate in the way that it worked. Yield-bearing stablecoins were a thing. Anchor comes around though, and it's not 8%, it's 20%. And it sounded like when that was set up, there were maybe some employees that were a little uncomfortable with the idea of 20%. It was far higher than what was out there.
Actually, just to set the record straight,
No, it wasn't. Stop lying. Stop lying. All your favorite YouTubers was on YouTube talking about go sign up for Anchor for the 18%. That I remember all of them was like, oh, I'm putting my money in Anchor and I'm making 18% APY. I remember all the top YouTubers talking about it. Let's get straight into it. Don't cap. Don't act like y'all ain't know what the hell was going on. Y'all knew what was going on. This
sort of the internal consensus of what people wanted to do with the interest rate was several 1,000% APR, like with Anchor in the beginning. And it's not a function of like them thinking, trying to make things unsustainable is a good idea. So what was a lower interest rate in the beginning turned out to be, you know, pretty high.
At what point, maybe on the run up, when you saw Anchor eventually capture almost $17 billion, in that journey, was there a point where you said, we're untouchable?
I felt like every day UST was getting stronger than the previous day.
There's also another operation going on behind the scenes, though, at the same time, that did seem, I guess, different from what the original promise of UST and Luna always was, which was it was an algorithmic stablecoin that functioned perfectly without the need for a reserve.
So we felt that by adding multiple different types of collateral, starting with Bitcoin, UST had a real chance to become the decentralized money for all of crypto.
But I'm curious where that kind of plan came from and what made you want to introduce that at that time.
So we started to do that with Bitcoin because we believe that it's the most resilient, the least biased digital currency on the planet. If we were optimizing for like economic stability, we probably would have built up a reserve in stablecoins, other stablecoins. I think on some other level, I believe too strongly in Bitcoin. I honestly didn't think it would fall this much.
Yeah.
And I know that
exactly. My point exactly. So when people hop on my YouTube channel talking about, why are you telling people to take profits? I never told anybody to take profits. If I see a signal on the chart, I'm just explaining the signal and I'm telling you what I'm doing. I'm not telling you to do the same thing. It's just crazy, man. A lot of people put so much belief in these cryptos and they not doing their research. And this is a guy fumbled $40 billion and told you, I just believe too much in Bitcoin and it let him down. I'm just being honest, family. I'm just being honest.
From time to time in its history, Bitcoin has gone down 80% every now and then.
Morgan, my
back
guy,
then
what it
was,
do?
like, the amount
Turn
of
up.
Economic
You feel me?
output
You
that's
see the Elon
been built in
pump?
crypto, the
Let's
amount
get
of
it.
people that have come in and started to build in this industry is unparalleled compared to all the other points in time. I felt like it was starting to display resilience as a decentralized, pristine type of commodity, but I was wrong.
Let's actually walk through the timeline for what actually happened here, though. And that kind of begins over the weekend. And UST dips slightly below peg. Twitter personality Do Kwon seems very calm and collected. Do Kwon in person talking to the TERRA team as this is starting to unfold. What's happening on that day?
So I was in Singapore. I wake up in the morning, and then I think the curve pool was imbalanced because somebody had done like a very large trade. So I think the initial trade was like $84 million, and then collectively it had built up to like a few hundred million. But then like the sentiment on Twitter started to get worse, and then there started to be more people that were trading against the curve pools. So the amount of sell pressure that we were seeing, started to get worse and worse. So we started to put together a $2 billion round, like in the middle of the night, and the news leaked. Once the news leaked, we started to see massive shorts pile up against Luna. So the value of the tokens that we were ready to sell just basically got decimated.
When the deal didn't come through,
That's crazy.
what was the situation in the war room at that point?
When I was trying to do the round, it wasn't so.
Can you imagine just fumbling $40 billion and having to answer to everybody when people come looking for their bag? Can you imagine that? I could just imagine the pressure Do Kwon had on him. Just look at his face, man. He reliving this moment right now as we look at him. It was a lot of pressure. It's a lot of pressure, man. I could just imagine people when they get these tokens and they tokens just blow up and they ain't expected to blow up. Now you got millions of people bags and all this responsibility, man. It's tough, but this is what comes with the game, and you got to understand that. And that's what I try to explain to a lot of people inside the community, man. I was telling the Twitter family today, if you don't understand that shorts and people taking profits is part of crypto, then you just need to get out of crypto. You get what I'm saying? Like, you just get out of crypto. If you don't understand that taking shorts and people taking profits is part of crypto, then my boy, crypto is not for you. And again, if you're going to explain to your family members, your friends, your family members, and tell them, hey, go buy this crypto, go buy that crypto, make sure you do your own research. Make sure you know that what you're telling your people to do. Let me get back into the video. I'm sorry I had to go off of it.
So much that I thought like the peg would be irrecoverable. So like you got to understand, like I've been through multiple of these crises before, and then the peg always recovered.
At what point did the discussions in the war room shift from, all right, look, we tried everything, didn't pan out?
So when I went into like a mini state of shock, I think I didn't notice, but I think people started to like get up and get some sleep, because for the past few days, like most people in those places just hadn't been sleeping at all.
Yeah, how much sleep did you get during that whole week?
For like 8 days, I don't think I slept at all.
Hell nah.
Straight all-nighters?
Hell nah, he ain't sleep. Boy, you got people pulling up to the crib talking about I need about $2 billion. He ain't sleep. He ain't get no sleep. He probably was sleeping with the pipe on him because he was worrying about, look at him. He like, shit, bro, how I'm going to sleep when I just fumbled a $40 billion rock? How I'm asleep, family? He ain't no sleep. Don't let me compare that to a hood situation. I'm gonna just chill, family, and play the video. Y'all don't want me to get real.
And then I think I had one burrito throughout the entire time.
A burrito?
One burrito, half a burrito. Yeah.
Oh my God.
I just didn't notice the passage of time. So like even now, if you were to ask me what happened during the day, what happened at night, I just wouldn't be able to tell because I just
No, Willie. Willie, I don't know.
I barely got up and was, like it was just like all a blur.
It was dark.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a dark. The TERRA community boards, there were talks of suicide and people who had lost life savings. My co-founder had a family friend who killed himself too. It was just, there's a lot of stories like that.
Right.
I mean,
That's tough.
what do you tell the people that were impacted by this?
You got
Yeah. So
bodies on you, bro.
after the chain halted, I spent
My dog got bodies on his mind. That's tough. That is tough, family.
a couple of days calling a lot of the people that I'd personally talked to in the TERRA community. It's the calls were rough.
Is there like a part of you that maybe would want to walk back what you said before, though, around particularly the language you used around people who flagged some of this stuff before?
I think I developed like sort of an entertaining alter ego to, match the community that I was engaging with. In retrospect, if you were to ask me whether like the manner in which some of these comments were conveyed were cringe, yes.
How is the experience?
Bruh, you told somebody to make sure you look at the grass. You told somebody in your comments that was asking about Terra Luna, did you touch the grass? That's disrespectful, bro. Especially after what happened. Come on, bro. You can't be telling people, make sure you go touch the grass, bro. That's disrespectful, bro. I ain't got nothing to say, though. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, y'all love when people come up here and sell dreams. So, that's what crypto is about. Selling dreams.
That unfolded with Terraform changed Do Kwon.
And I think like the biggest learning is like I have a lot of clarity on the things that I enjoy doing. So I like this moment where you sort of have an idea of what you think the future should look like, and then that sort of converges to the present because of the work that you've done.
I mean, what was your personal loss around all this too?
Don't get me wrong. Dog is a genius. Like, Dog is a genius. I don't even think it was all on him. And I don't know the situation. I don't know if he has something personally to do with it. But dude is a genius. The things that he built within that ecosystem, he's a complete genius. So I'm not taking that away from Do Kwon. But the arrogance was his downfall. You feel me? Not being humble. Letting that bag get to your head. So you can't let that bag get to your head. You always got to stay grounded. And you always got to stay humble. You feel me? I remember reading this book back in the day. It's called The Greatest Salesman in the World. And they say, and one of the biggest things that I picked up from the book, he says, whenever you feel bigger than life, put your hand out and try to stop the wind. You get what I'm saying? Just try to stop the wind. Whenever you feel bigger than life, try to stop the wind. You can't stop the wind. You feel me? So, moral of the story is stay humble. You got to stay humble.
Like quantified in dollars, or
Because I think you were a billionaire on paper, at least, when this was when it was doing well.
sure, yeah.
And if you're attached to this project and it goes to zero,
So like one of the jokes that people tell each other, like when markets turn bad, is down bad or down horrendous, right? And the word that I use to describe what happened here is down infinite. I mean, I just want to make it perfectly clear. The way that I thought about Terra Luna was, this was essentially my life. I put my actions where my beliefs are. And I bet big, and I think I lost.
overnight, the home of Do Kwon's co-founder, Daniel Shin, was raided by Korean prosecutors.
What does this mean for Do?
I mean, like we were talking about yesterday, the Chai payment system
I'm
and stuff that they
tripping.
co-founded
I'm
was
tripping
always
off y'all
kind of
comment.
different than Terra.
Hold
Terra
on.
was kind of built.
Yo, I'm tripping off y'all comments right now. Keep them coming. Y'all got me rolling right now. The stuff that y'all saying is completely hilarious. Get off my dog like that. You feel me? Like, at least he had the kahunas to come do this interview knowing them people looking for, Do Kwon, them people looking for you, fam. I just want to let you know.
as an offshoot, and Daniel Shin moved off of TERRA to focus just on chai.
Yeah.
And, their friend Daniel Shin officiated Do's wedding, and now he's still in Korea kind of facing this.
Yeah. But if you were going to do an investigation and go after the top guy, you circle around him and you slowly come in.
That's facts. That's facts. Anybody that's rocking open toe sandals with billions of dollars, man, you got to know they don't care. They don't care. Like a person that's rocking open toe sandals, you already know what time it is. It's kind of like that person with the black Air Force Ones, the beat up the white Air Force Ones Willie D. You already know that person don't care. They don't care. Fam walking around with $1 billion in his pocket and he got open toe sandals, bro. He don't care. He don't care.
I mean, this is an illegal question, since you're not a lawyer, I'm not a lawyer, but what are you prepared to face?
Well, in terms of, like dealing with due process, right? It's not a question of what you are prepared to face.
Yeah.
It's a question of how you are going to face them. Right?
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting because, after the crash, your legal team all left. You're doing this interview now because you want to talk about what happened truthfully and transparently. I don't know if you're talking to other lawyers now and they're saying, yo, you probably shouldn't do this. Are they?
Yes.
I mean, no lawyer is going to be happy.
Yes. Yes, they telling him not to do this. Yes. Yes. If you do any crime, your lawyer gonna tell you not to speak about it until it's an open case. Of course his lawyers told him not to do this. And I'm wondering in my head, what made him do this? You feel me? Like, of course his lawyers is telling him not to do this. Yes, his lawyers told his ass no.
But it is what it is.
But around those who are now attached to this, right? We were talking about Daniel Shin, your co-founder, and last night the news that prosecutors raided his house
See how he
to
look.
go in
Let's
and
see
try
how he
and
look
figure
when he
out
say
what
that.
happened here. I mean, is that a decision? How do you feel about that impacting him now?
Zach, whenever you ask questions about me feeling bad, like the default answer is always going to be that I feel terrible, obviously. And especially given it's been a while since he stepped away from the company, I don't think, whatever happened here has anything to do with him.
He's still in Korea. Former and current Terraform Labs employees can't leave Korea. Does part of you say I should go back?
So right now it's kind of hard to make that decision because we've never been in touch with the investigators. They've never charged us with anything.
But I mean, as you look back at things, what's your take on, I guess, how you define fraud?
Now, before he answered that, I do find that's very, very eerie because it's crazy. We seen them go after the Celsius, Voyager, Tornado Cash. We seen people go after these people. But why ain't nobody going after Do Kwon? It makes me think maybe he was a plant in the industry. You ever heard of those, the music industry when they say they put a plant in the industry? You feel me? It just makes me feel I get a feeling that he could possibly be a plant in the crypto industry. Y'all let me know what y'all think in the chat, man. Y'all blow up the chat, like, subscribe, share this. Y'all already know what time it is. Retweet it, baby. Leave a comment.
Well, if you knew something that wasn't true, and then you argue that was true for personal enrichment or whatever purpose that might be, then that's fraud.
When it comes to that, though, and kind of the use of UST and the Korean stablecoin on Terra through Chai, and if it was starting to unwind because not a lot of people were using it, and if that was in March when it was completely done, I think on the Palm podcast, which was after that, you're still talking about Chai as being a reason to be bullish on the Terra ecosystem.
I didn't know that they paused the March 18th thing until recently when the Wall Street Journal asked us about when did Chai pause, Terra on-ramps and off-ramps.
Yeah.
That's because I was no longer involved in Chai management.
But this is your best friend's company, and one that you said you built and were part of. And so I feel if there was anything that might be in your radar of things that could potentially change and weaken maybe a bit of the risk to UST, I feel like that might be something that would come up.
No, I think you're right. I think if I said good things about something, good news about something, then by the principle of parity, I should have responsibility to say the bad things as well, especially if the good stuff that I said didn't pan out.
But I mean, like something like that, overlooking risks, is that a crime in your mind?
As we were thinking about trying to build UST, we've, and I think like TFL in general, like all the people that chose to work here.
How y'all think all the people in Korea that he just left hanging feeling? How y'all think they feel right now? The guy just said they can't even leave outside of Korea. They can't even leave Korea. Like his whole team can't leave Korea. And frankly, his whole team ain't even rocking with him. In fact, his lawyers left him. So he basically, from the looks of it, on the run. I don't know. I don't know. It just looked like it's on the run. I don't know what he on right now. Y'all let me know.
And all of sort of the key builders in the Terra ecosystem, their primary objective, in my mind, was to try to build the best decentralized money possible.
Yeah.
And I think all the things that they've said was in allegiance to that goal.
Willie, my point exactly, Willie. We ain't hearing nothing about it. But they came after the Tornado Cash dude. They came after the Celsius dude, Voyager. They came after all these people. And let's get this frank. I don't wish no negativity upon nobody. You feel me? You know, they say do your crime, do your time. It is what it is. But I don't wish that type of energy towards nobody. I just find it ironic and kind of weird that these people people coming after them. They going through countries. I mean, Amsterdam and all these countries pulling up on people. This guy can go do interviews, live scot-free. $40 billion, fam, is $40 billion. And like I said, nothing negative about my boy Do Kwon. He's a complete genius out here. Things just didn't pan out. But it is unfortunate that people lost their lives, lost their house, lost their wives. It's an ugly situation, fam. It's really
Again, let me
ugly.
ask this just as a question that people might ask looking at these facts. Like, does that make you an Elizabeth Holmes?
I don't think so.
No.
Yeah.
Why not?
Well, I'm not too familiar with the Theranos story, but didn't she take like medicine that wasn't working or like a blood tester that wasn't working and then it could potentially hurt people?
It was mostly overselling the product in what it could do.
I thought the product could do nothing.
Exactly.
I don't think that's the case here. I think whereas we tended to highlight the good stuff about the products that were built on top of Terra stablecoins.
Good
I think,
projects. Good projects.
You know, everything that excited us about Terra stablecoins were true.
But this is a pretty important question. If it's called a stable coin and its point is to be stable, someone could look at UST and say, this product did nothing.
Yeah,
Fair or not fair?
I think the right analogy there would be if like the blood testers were working for a while and then after some time it just totally stopped working, then I would think it would be the same analogy. But this is different, right? Like the blood testers never worked and then she lied about it and then said that they did. For Terra stablecoins, it was working beautifully throughout the entire history that it was. And the fact that it was working perfectly was visible in the order books and was, you know, present in all the integrations in the open source and transparent matter of crypto until it stopped working.
You're a smart guy and you know stablecoins probably better than everyone in the world, I think. And you knew the risk around depegging in the fact that every other stablecoin in history, algorithmic stablecoins, had failed.
Right.
So it's either Do Kwon was overconfident in his project, and in retrospect, no one wants to admit to being overconfident because it makes you look dumb. Or Do Kwon was lying about the eventuality of this. Which one is it?
So looking back, this
Dog, you was overconfident, bro. Stop trying to, dude. Look at his face. Look what he about to say. I can't stand a person that do that, bro. If you're wrong, you're wrong. Just say, own up to it, like you did in the interview. Now you need to come out and say, hey, I was overconfident. I thought this was gonna happen and it didn't happen. It's okay, bro. We ain't perfect. We human beings. We make mistakes. All these intellectual answers just making you look like you don't care, bro. You know what I'm saying? So just give a yes or a no and keep it like that. I already know your lawyer looking at this interview like face palm. He probably got his face in his palm right now when you about to answer this question, because he like, bro, just be quiet. Just be quiet. If you don't know what to say in situations like this, just don't say nothing at all, family. Don't say nothing at all. This is tragic, man. This is tragic. This is tragic.
Rational, but you got to put yourself in the shoes of a founder, and the ecosystem is inching close to $100 billion. If you've had a series of wins and you get to that scale, then like you almost don't think that you could fail.
You were a crypto god at that point, basically.
I wouldn't say God. I would say that we had...
Shout out to everybody in the comments that's leaving a comment, chat, like, subscribe, retweet this. Shout out to everybody in the chat right now.
the confidence and the trust of a lot of people in and out of the industry. And that made us very successful. Just the reality of it is we tried to build the best currency in the world, and it just didn't work.
I mean, that was one thing that stood out yesterday when we were talking. You actually kind of seemed all right with it.
You cannot be emotional about markets.
That's
right. You can't blame people for shorting. You can't.
Bruh, look, family. This is my first time watching this interview, and I said this today. Somebody hopped in the comments on one of the DOGELON videos. I ain't even gonna give Dog no clout, and he basically blamed me for people shorting the markets. He blamed me for people taking profits, and I had to explain to him, like, that's just part of crypto. That's just part of the market. I'm not out here telling people to short DOGELON Mars or take profits. I'll just be telling you what I'm doing. In fact, I ain't never short a crypto project in my life. I ain't never short a crypto project in my life, ever. You feel me? So, again, people need to understand how crypto works. If I'm looking at a chart, right, and I'm telling you the strength of this chart is weakening, you don't got to do what I do. But don't blame me, because people see that and like, okay, I'm taking my profits, I'll wait till a lower leg. You can choose to hold your crypto because it's your crypto. Unless you don't got the keys, not your crypto. But again, respect the market. Respect the longs, but also respect the shorts. Respect the green days, but also respect the red days. You got to understand market from both angles, man. It's always going to be bears and bulls. It's always going to be good and evil. It's always going to be light and dark, family.
Can't call people idiots for longing.
In terms of, you know, you're not trying to prove a conspiracy here, but someone attacking the community, it was, this is the time to strike and take this thing down. And if that's the case, you know, it's a little bit more calculated.
Thank you, D-Lo.
Yeah, so
thank you, D-Lo. They don't want it. D-Lo, I don't know what they be on, D-Lo.
Whether somebody try to take advantage of that particular opportunity, I would say that the answer is yes. But if those opportunities existed, then the blame is on the person that presented those vulnerabilities in the first place.
Who is that?
That's me, right? So I and I alone am responsible for any weaknesses that could have been presented for a short seller to start to take profit.
He kept it all the way gutter, and I respect it. It's about time, bro. You owned up to it. You feel me? You should have known people was about to bank run you, bro. You was already cocky. You was already confident, and you was telling people you was trying to be the dude that holds the most Bitcoin outside of Satoshi. So you just rub people the wrong way. You a young cat. It's a lot of maximalists. It's a lot of haters out there. You feel me? And once you start doing good, that's when the haters commence. You get what I'm saying? That's why I say, man, they don't want your boy to hold an interview with Sergio Methuselah Foundation. They don't want your boy to hold an interview. I like this guy who held the interview because he ain't hold no punches. He gave it to Do Kwon straight. He gave it to him real, and he asked them some real questions and put the pressure on him worldwide so everybody can see. I like this interview. This is how you interview somebody. This is how you ask real questions. This is how you get answers for the community.
And I guess it's fair to ask and make sure that it wasn't you.
Are you asking whether I shorted?
Yeah.
I've never shorted a cryptocurrency in my life, let alone Luna and UST.
Me neither, bruh.
Think about your daughter, too, though. You talk about why you named her Luna. Your dearest creation named after your greatest invention.
You gotta think about that every time you look at your daughter, homeboy.
What does that mean for her? And what does it mean for you as a father?
Well, so let's just say that I have an incentive to make sure that her name isn't something that she should be ashamed of, but something that she can be proud of. Yeah, we're not going to change her name or anything like that. I think it's an important part of our family's history. But I plan to be building here for a long time. And if my thesis is right, then I think what I spend time doing over the next 20 years is going to be more meaningful than what happened over the last 6 weeks.
Boy got open-toe
The
sandals.
whole idea behind crypto.
All right, so I'm not going to go into a whole long, closure, you know what I'm saying, to the video. But y'all let me know what y'all think about Kwon, man. This could happen to anybody, man. Hopefully everybody can pick up something from this video. And the biggest thing that I picked up is that, man, you got to humble yourself. You always got to stay green, that you can grow. You feel me? You can't never feel like you just bigger than the game. Because as soon as you feel like you bigger than the game, that's when the game comes after you, family. So just respect the market. Respect the macro environment. Respect what's going on in crypto, be it be positive or negative, because you can always learn from anybody. You can learn from somebody that's successful in crypto, and you can also learn from somebody that has failed in crypto. And you kind of like balance it out, man. You feel me? But always, the moral of the story, family, is always do your own research. You get what I'm saying? Do your own research. Don't listen to me. Don't listen to those YouTubers, that YouTubers. Take little from here, little from him, little for her, and then go do your own research, and then you come up with your own summary and synopsis of what you think of whatever project or crypto or whatever you're doing, man. But do your own research, man. You feel me? I just wanted to spread this awareness, man. Shouts out to Kwon for even coming out there and doing the interview. Most people would have been hiding. Most people would have been somewhere way across the country trying to stay away. But this man came up, big kahunas, showed everybody that he wasn't afraid to kind of like, you know what I'm saying, stand on it. You feel me? He messed up. Everybody messed up, but at least he stand on it. It's unfortunate for the people that may have lost their lives or lost billions of dollars, man. I really tip my cap and actually feel bad for those type of people. But again, they always say, and the number one thing I was taught when I first got into the crypto space is never invest what you are afraid to lose. Unfortunately, a lot of people put leverage inside the community in the crypto space, and a lot of people started shorting Terra Luna, and it just turned into a nasty situation, man. And I wouldn't want to see that for any type of crypto. But again, not your keys, not your crypto. Never put your faith in these projects, especially if you don't know the people, man. A lot of times we put in a lot of faith in these projects. We don't know the people. We never met the founders. We don't know the ulterior motives of these people. We just believe in the value and utility in some cases the community, family. So again, do your own research. Make sure you're always protected in the crypto space. Get you a ledger. Always have some money on the side. Never put 110% into the crypto space. And if you do, that's on you. You feel me? That your project, your money, your capital, you do what you do. But again, man, make sure you protect yourself, because at the end of the day, crypto is still a new space. It's new. It's gonna go through its rocky moments. You got and you gotta understand, anything that you invest into that's new is gonna be rocky moments, and you just gotta be prepared for it. You feel me? You just gotta be prepared for it. A wise man told me, hey man, don't start investing into crypto until you make sure you don't got, what do you say, you don't got no debt out there, and you got at least 6 months worth of emergency fund. You get what I'm saying? And me personally, when I started investing in crypto, I didn't listen to that. I just went full force in, and it's been a learning experience. It's funny because it's like I paid for school. All the money that I lost originally getting into crypto is the tuition I paid to get to where I am today, as far as learning, as far as the learning curve. So sometimes, you feel me, you can kind of like cheat that curve by finding good people. Cheat that curve by actually going to learn finance, learn crypto, learning charts. You feel me? I just hopped in without learning. And if I could look at myself in the mirror 2-3 years ago and tell myself what I would do different. What I would do different, family, is I would learn first before I would invest. You feel me? I would learn charting. I would learn charts. I would learn as much about the crypto space, at least 6 months of learning before I started to invest. And that was my you know, my biggest thing is I didn't. I just put money in off word of the mouth. I put money in off FOMO and stuff like that, and I had to learn along the way. So anybody that's new into the crypto space, do your research first. Learn terms, learn charts, learn different things about crypto. That way you can start predicting moves and being a little bit more prepared if anything happens inside the crypto space, via it be bad, via it be good. So again, y'all, you know what I mean? Y'all let me know what y'all think about this, man. I ain't gonna talk y'all to death, man. I appreciate everybody that showed up to the live, man. I will try to at least do one more video for you guys today. So make sure you like and subscribe. You feel me? And holla at your boy on Twitter, man. You feel me? So